Hello again and welcome back. My name's Annie and this is my creative detour. Today is full deck challenge day once again, and we are moving on to card number 32, and the prompt today is bird. So hello and welcome to all my new subscribers and new viewers, and hi to all my regulars. Thanks for coming back. Now for those of you that are new to the full deck challenge, it is ran by Shana from ShanoukiArt, and I've got the link below if you'd like to join in. You can join in at any time, and it's basically altering a playing card once a week for the whole year. And last week's card we had rainbow, and I have to carry over something from last week's card. You can see in the background of this card here I have dry embossed a background. So I'm going to carry that over, and I've already dry embossed a background. It's a different background to the one that's here, but it's still a dry embossed background. So that's my carryover item. And for my constant, so the thing that I have to use every week, it's paint swatches. Here I have die cut out some buttons out of some paint swatches. For this week's card, I have die cut out some other shapes. Let's get all of my resources set up and I'll show you what we're doing today. Okay, as I said, I've cut out some backgrounds, and I've done one for the back as well. They've been dry embossed and they've just got a texture on it with some little bit of text in the background, and they look like they're almost like a rendered wall. And I have here, you can see, we've got a lovely owl. And this is an Australian native owl, and it's found on the east coast from maybe around about Hervey Bay, which is about 4 hours north of Brisbane, all the way down the east coast, down to the Victorian border. So all the way down New South Wales into the Victorian border. And he's called a powerful owl. And he's not overly big, but he has a very large wingspan for his proportions. But he's got some lovely markings on him. He's renowned for his bright yellow eyes, and that was what I was drawn to, really. He's got lovely bright yellow eyes, so I'm going to draw on that, and I'm going to use quite a bit of gold in my composition to draw those yellow eyes out. And you can see that I've pulled out a card. I've just pulled out the 3 of spades. Nothing significant about that one this week, other than that I wanted a black card, which I'm running out of black cards because I tend to use them the most at the moment. So I'm going to do a watercolour wash on these first. I'm going to do them in gold and different shades of gold. I have some gold watercolour paint here, and this is the brand if you're interested. It's great because it's quite opaque. Some gold watercolours are a little bit too transparent, so it's not completely opaque. It has got some transparency to it, but it does have more opacity than some others. So I'm going to do some watercoloring, and I'll set the video to some music and speed it up a bit, and I'll see you back here very soon actually. have put a bit of colour on those, as you saw, and I have dried them off. Now the paper that I used for this was a mixed media paper, and it was a draw and wash by Paper House, and it's a 250 GSM, so it will take both wet and dry techniques. It won't take a lot of water, but it handles it reasonably well, so it's a good all-rounder. And I dry embossed it first, then watercolor, but you can see it's got a little bit of warping on it, but that will be okay, it'll glue out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch my hole, and I think I want this one for the owl. So let's mark where we need to punch out our hole, just like we did last week. So I'm just lining it up. That's pretty good. That's close enough. So I've just put some gold around it, around the hole that I punched, and I'm just going to let that dry. I'm going to put a little bit of distress ink on the card, just to pull that number back a bit so that it doesn't scream white. You can see just where the 3 of spades is. I've inked that up a bit. And I'm going to put the back of the card on first. So I'll ink this up, give it a good inking. Now, today's date is the 15th of August. So let's change that. And I think I'll try it in gold. Okay, let's glue that onto the back of our card. And I'm going to use some art glitter glue because both the cards are fairly thick. Okay, now if this one's dry now, so let's ink this one. Okay, so we have the front and the back glued together, and we have our playing card sandwiched in the middle. And I'm just inking up that edge so it's nice and tidy. And I'm going to ink around my owl. Now, when Shana said that the prompt this week was bird, I thought to myself, what am I going to do? Because I actually have done 3 or 4 birds already. So I thought to myself, what am I going to do that is a little bit different than me just putting a bird onto the card like I have in the past with a little bit of scenery around. So I thought to myself, I looked at the owl, I spotted the owl, and I thought, ooh, steampunk. I haven't done anything steampunk on this challenge. So I have stamped out a hat out of Tim Holtz's stamp set. I think it's Curiosity. And I stamped it out in black, and then I've just coloured it in with some colour pencils and put some gold paint on it and gold pen on it. And I've got a cog cut out to go around our identifier here. And out of the paint swatches and some cardstock, I have die cut out some cogs and glued them together. So the colours are paint swatches, and then the golden bits are from gold metallic cardstock. So I've done that, and I have stamped out a sentiment that says stay curious. So let's put all this together, and it's really just an assembly situation now, putting our bits together, because I did all of the die cutting off camera, which I always do. It takes too long to do it on camera. So we'll glue this cog on first around our number 3. And we have a branch on our bird. Now I'm not sure whether I am going to want to keep the branch on or not, but let's put a little bit of glue just down the middle of him to set him that we'll be able to pull him up. And I have some of them to tuck underneath. Now the cogs, I actually cut them out of a graphic 45 die set, and it's the tags, the medium-sized tag die. Let's see that we've got our hat in the right spot. Oh yes, I wanted the hat just tipping off the top. Let's just put a little bit of glue on, get this in position, and we'll backfill it with some glue in a moment. Okay, I've got that side glued down. Happy with that. I keep flipping it over because I want it to look reasonably tidy on the back. I don't need it to look perfect on the back, but just neat. Now I have another cluster of clogs to go on here with some paint swatches in it. The little bits of black, I have die cut out some black paint swatch just to bring the black over. So 1, 2, 3 pops of black. And I'm going to stick my Stay Curious here. Let's glue that on to his tail. Because owls are very curious, and having a steampunk owl is very curious. I haven't worked very much with the steampunk theme, but I quite like it. I like the mechanics of it, and I like all the circles. I'm a big circle fan. I like the metallics and the whole machinery side of things, maybe partly because of being a designer. That sort of plays into my wheelhouse. There's a little pun for you, my wheelhouse. Just hold that for a moment. Okay, I've got the other side glued down. I will have edited out a bit of the time because the gluing and just holding it while it dries is a little bit monotonous for you to watch, but that's where we're at so far. He's looking nice. And I'm going to put a little bit of penwork on him, and then I'm going to put his hat on, and I've got some cogs for decorating his eyes. So let's put a little bit of penwork on him. Okay, I've just put a little bit of penwork on him, just so that we could see where his wings were and his little foot here. And I put some more around his beak. So let's glue his hat on. And I have some metal cogs. I'm not sure, actually they're from Studio 73 and they're just called Metal Treasures, and they're cogs. And you can see I've got different ones. I'm going to glue them on for his eyes, but I want his hat on first. So let's do that, because his eye cogs are going to have to go over the top of the brim of his hat a little bit. Now I think I like the hat sitting a bit low on his eyes. I'm going to position these so that his eye is still visible out of the cog. Now I'm hoping that art glitter glue will hold these. I might need to go to glossy accents if they don't. Okay, I'm just going to let that sit for a bit. Okay, so let's have a little look at where we're at. I've got to be honest, I just was editing the video thinking that I had done everything, and then when I got to the end of the video, I paused the video because I needed the cogs to dry. And guess what I did? I forgot to turn the video back on, and I did all of my explanation, and I showed that I did some highlights, and so I'm really sorry about that, but these things happen, don't they, when you're videoing? You get too engrossed in enjoying creating and forget to do the videoing bit sometimes. Here we are, here's our owl, and the cogs have all dried, and the only other thing that I did was I added some white gel pen just as some highlights here and there around his wing and on his hat and his eyes and the brim of his hat, just to give a little bit more variation, light and shade. But he turned out lovely. I'm really happy with the gold background and the cogs. And we have our carryover item is the background, the embossed background with the gold watercolour. And then our constant are the cogs that are die cut out of paint swatches. And then I also die cut out quite a lot of metallic cardstock. So there he is. He's very curious. He is the powerful owl of Australia, and he is sitting in a tree full of cogs, not full of branches, but he's sitting in a tree of cogs to show that he's very curious and that his mind's always going, or he's always thinking of things. So I'm really happy with how he turned out. He's super cute. And in the meantime, I also have put all of my cards onto a new hoop because it wasn't fitting on the other one. So let's add our owl to our family and do it up. There we go. They will all fit on there for the rest of the year. Okay, thank you very much for joining me today. I really appreciate you spending the time watching the video. So if you enjoyed the video today on our Steampunk Powerful Owl from Australia, give the video a like, that'd be wonderful. And I invite you to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to, it's free. And have a great weekend, everybody. I hope you have an opportunity to do something fun and creative. And I will see you all very soon with another project. Bye for now.